Welcome back, guys. So we saw how compositions work. Let me just quickly recap that. So we wanted to make another class subplot because we wanted every graph to automatically go inside the subplot. So just because we wanted it to go automatically, that's why we had to put the object or the composition here in the init function. So how the composition works? Composition works by creating an object of that class which you want to get involved into your present class or the current class, right? So we wanted to get involved our subplot class into the graph class, so which is why we are creating an object of the subplot class in the graph class inside the init function. So that's how we're going to be having access to all the attributes and your methods as well. Now let me just quickly run this so that you can see what we got last time. So this is what we get, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna populate this same photo probably with for loop just to see how quickly you can populate your subplots, right? And then you can keep changing depending upon if you don't like anything. Okay, now in order to do that, first of all what we need to do is we need to use our for loop to iterate over just to get different plots, right? So I'm gonna say for item equals to for item in actually in, and then I'm gonna say range. Okay, and I'm gonna say 4 here, that's fine. And then you can have your function. So what's gonna be the function? So the function is gonna be all this lot. So what exactly do you want to do inside your, now why am I cutting and pasting? Because indent is very important as far as Python is concerned. So all you, in order to fix it, you just press tab and that's it, done, it's done. So item in range 4. Okay, one moment. Step 1, it's gonna take value 0 and then it's gonna set this myplot1 equals to graph, same thing, yeah, this whole thing. And then this is gonna go to the initialization function and then the story kicks in from there. So after the initialization is done, then you have your attributes set, everything, and then you say myplot1.py underscore graph. So the end product which we want to get is that we want to populate our subplot. Now let's look at the command of the subplot. So what do we have here? So you give your matrix. So for example, if you want your 4 figures on your subplot, then you're gonna say 2 comma 2. And in case if you want 9 photos, then you're gonna be saying 3 comma 3. If you want 6 photos with 2 rows and 3 columns, then you're gonna be saying 2 comma 3. Now this number here, the third number, that is very important because this tells you the first position from where the plotting is going to be starting. So obviously we need to start it from 1. So that's how we going to be populating our, let me just quickly run this and show you exactly what I mean. So you have it here, right? So this was 2 by 2. So you were meant to be having 4 figures. One is this, one above it, one to the right of this one, and then one to the right of this one. So you're gonna be having 4. But just because you gave number 3, so it started off from 1, 2, and 3. So it started off from here. So you're meant to be starting from 1, 2, 3. So it depends upon how many number of images you want on your subplot. So what are we going to be doing is we're going to be making it into a variable. So I'm just going to say probably r, yeah, and then the value of the r, that's going to be coming from the object. So as of now I'm just going to say r here as well. Okay, don't worry if you're not understanding. Once I replay it, then you'll understand. Now for item in range this, yeah, so every time you're going to be creating your object, some value should increase, right? Only then you'll be able to say, okay, this is plot number 1, this is plot number 2, this is plot number 3. So in order to do that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to create a variable. This is class variable, mind you, this is class variable, this is not object variable. Object variable is also known as instance variable. So these are instance variables where you have your self attached to them, but this is class variable, so you don't have anything attached to it. So there is a term called CLS, but don't worry about it at the moment. When we go over the class methods, only then I'll be explaining that. But as of now, you just need to understand that this is not same as self.title. Self.title is attached to your, bound to your object. This is not bound to anything. Okay, this is bound to your class. Well, that's fine. Now what you're gonna do is every time the plot is gonna be created, so you need to increase your counter by 1. Okay, so you're gonna say graph.counter Why graph.counter? Pause the video and think over it. So graph.counter, because this is a class variable, so you have to tell graph.counter because graph is your class. So what about the self.title? Well, this is not class variable, this is object variable, which is why you are saying self.title, because self contains the address of the object, not the class. Okay, so that's the difference. So you're gonna say graph.counter is equal to graph.counter plus 1. Okay, so graph.counter, when you create your first plot, that's gonna become value of 1, and when you create your second plot, that's gonna go to value of 2. So all these values 1, 2, 3, so that should come here, right? So this is the place where these values, they should keep on increasing. So how do you think we're gonna do that? Well, there's only one way. Could be another way as well, but I think one is enough for us. Oh, my mouse is stuck, sorry. So I'm just gonna copy this because this is the variable, right? And then when we try and make in the init function, we have already done our object, we have created our composition. So when we are trying to call the method which is making your subplots, which is your make subplots, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this variable as a argument, as an argument, and then it should also have a variable to receive the argument. Well, that's your variable there, r. So quick recap. So we needed our plot to be populated, right? So we wanted a counter there because this is the position which is going to be changing. So first plot is going to go into the first position, second plot into the second position, and which is why we are using counters. So once we have the variable counter, all we need to do is every time the plot is created, we just need to up the value of counter by 1. So when it is done, then while you're creating the make subplot, or while you're calling that method through your composition, right, then all you need to do is you just need to pass that value. Okay, and that value is going to be received there into the make subplot method, and that value will be changing every time. Okay, because you are calling the make subplots every time you're creating the plot. Let's try and run this and let's see what we get. See, so we made 2 by 2 and r, and then we have all this, correct? For example, if I was creating here 3 by 3, yeah, 3 by 2 maybe, so we know 6, yeah. So in range I'm gonna be saying 6. Okay, let me run it again. Let's see what we get. See, you have 3 rows, yeah, 3 rows and 2 columns. You can do the same thing with the, for example, let me just show it to you. Okay, so you can do the same thing. All you need to do is copy this, copy. So maybe you want to use it for pie plot. So what you need to do is this, put this here in 6, and now you just need to call the pie graph. Okay, so you have pie graph here. Go ahead. So you see you have 6. Let me just try and show you the power. Let's suppose we are plotting, I don't know, around 25 images maybe. You know, you won't really have to do that, but sometimes it becomes when you're doing optimization and all, so you might want to do that. Well, when you have 25 figures now, right, so all you need to do is you need to have them evenly distributed. So you have 5,5, and now you save it, and now you have to do that. You see, so 25 plots, subplots. You see, that's the power of scripting. And you know, obviously because we haven't really delved too deep into it, which is why we are just using the same image. So maybe next time we might as well do something with the pandas so that we have different plots on screen, and then we get going with that one. Well, that's there is to compositions, and using compositions to make your subplots. So if you were to make subplots, you could have done it the other way as well, but I just wanted to show you how composition is used in practical examples, for example when you're making your own script. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye.